I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I'm going to be watching in the new year, 2025. Could be a wild ride. Hi, this is Bert Sperling, the Best Places Guy.
I'm here in Santa Monica right now.
We ended up moving.
Let's talk about cost of living. So, here from the beautiful Oregon coast, let's get into it. There's some things that have my special attention that I think are going to be especially important for the new year. First one on the list, the pandemic. Remember that? We thought we're all over with that. We're not. Now, I think it was Faulkner, the writer, that said, the past isn't dead, it isn't even past. I think that is so true. The pandemic continues to cast this huge shadow over us as a people, as a society, and has completely upended our expectations of what we want life to be and how we live it. For instance, the downtown. People are saying they're coming back to the downtown, it's not empty anymore, and the occupancy rate is going up. You should do what I do. Read the whole article and look at some of the citations they make. See if it makes sense to you. And what you'll find out is that, yeah, it's coming back, but it's coming back from maybe a third to half of the people, and maybe it's coming back to 60%, 70% in some places. And those people that are, quote, coming back only are returning for, say, 2, 3, maybe 4 days a week. That isn't enough to make a vibrant downtown. It isn't enough to keep the businesses downtown alive and thriving, giving the functions and services that people come to expect. As a result, there's less reason for people to be downtown. And it has become accepted for businesses to move their offices out of the downtown into the fringes of a metro area, like a nearby city or town, to save money, to make it easier on their employees as well. This just continues a spiral downward, and this is what they call a downtown doom loop. Now, you're going to hear that term a lot, because what happens is, and this is important, they think, well, why don't we just take those big buildings and we'll make apartments? We need housing, that'll work. No, it doesn't, and here's why. Most buildings, I think it's generally agreed, after 1960, there's new manners of construction that don't make it possible to clean out the entire floor and then create, say, apartments or loft living, or even add more bathrooms to it. So you're pretty well stuck with that footprint for any building made after 1960. The value of these large office buildings is plummeting, and we're watching basically a catastrophe in slow motion, rippling through the financial networks, borrowers and lenders and banks and real estate companies and the building owners. It's going to be devastation. And I think what might have to happen in some of these cases is you simply tear down the buildings and start over again. It's going to be cheaper in the long run, but it will be painful. The second major effect of the pandemic has been people moving to smaller cities, towns, metro areas. And these can be on the fringes of larger metro areas, but they say, why should I live downtown? Our office is moving out. I can go maybe once, twice, 3 times a week. I can do a longer commute for that. In fact, some people might stay, they might work 2 days, 2 long, hard days, and then they will come back home for a long weekend back towards the, used to be the suburbs or a more rural area where the family can have a real house with a fence and a yard, and just a much different quality of life than they would find they had in the big city. So we're finding that happening a lot more, where people are moving out north of Philadelphia, north of New York City, north of Chicago. Is everybody moving north? I'm sure they're not, but anyway, those are areas that occur to me. Getting some revitalization of people who realize they don't have to work near the downtown, and in fact can work remotely. And finally, the pandemic has given us the permission to tell our friends and neighbors, to say, we're going to move to Boise. 5 years ago, they say, what? Why are you doing that? But now people get it. It's hip, it's cool, it's kind of the thing to do. There's a whole social construct that has been upended, and it's much more acceptable to move to these other places. And people are moving there, and they're finding affordability, they're finding a better quality of life, and coincidentally, they are raising the housing prices really high, and it's really upsetting the people that already live there. It's a big change all the way around. So when you hear people say, oh, the downtown's coming back, take it with a grain of salt, a big grain of salt. And take a look at the facts, and I don't know, I just don't see good things happening for a long time unless a new rule book is being rewritten and some hard decisions are being made.